The rain had just begun to fall when Daniel stepped out of his old truck, the kind of soft drizzle that made the world look blurry around the edges. He clutched the grocery bag with milk, cereal, and the dinosaur-shaped gummies his son adored. All he wanted was a quiet evening with Leo, a warm dinner, and maybe a movie before bedtime. But the universe had different plans waiting at his front door. His ex-wife, Monica, stood there, heels sinking slightly into the wet ground, mascara streaked from either the rain or her own dramatics. She thrust a folder toward him before he even had the chance to ask why she was there. "Sign these papers now," she snapped, her voice sharp enough to cut through the storm. Daniel stared at her, blinking. "Hello to you too. What is this? Custody modification," she said, folding her arms. "I want full custody of Leo. You'll get weekends, maybe." The grocery bag nearly slipped out of Daniel's hand. "Full custody, Monica, we agreed. Leo stays with me during the week. You visit when you can." "Why are you doing this?" "Because things have changed," she hissed. "I'm getting married, Daniel. To someone who can actually provide stability. Leo needs to be in a home where he won't grow up wearing thrift store jackets and riding around in that," she gestured to his truck, rust bucket. Daniel inhaled slowly. He'd gotten used to her jabs about money, her obsession with appearances, her belief that love could be measured in brand names. But when it involved Leo, something inside him twisted. "I'm not signing anything," he said firmly. Her eyes flared. "You will, or I'll make sure the court knows exactly what kind of life you're giving him." Daniel didn't respond, not because he didn't have anything to say, but because he refused to fight in front of Leo, who had pressed his face against the window inside, watching with wide, worried eyes. "Daddy," Leo called from behind the screen door. Daniel turned, softening instantly. "Hey, buddy, go inside, I'll be right there." But Monica wasn't done. She shoved the papers into his chest. "Sign it today, Daniel. I'm not asking again." Then she stormed off to her sleek black car and sped away, leaving Daniel standing in the drizzle with the papers heavy in his hands. Inside, he made dinner while Leo sat at the kitchen counter coloring dinosaurs. Daniel forced a smile, but the weight of the moment settled deep in his chest. "Daddy, are you sad?" Leo asked without looking up. "No, buddy, just thinking." "You don't have to think. I can help you." Leo lifted his picture. "Which dinosaur is the bravest? This one or this one?" Daniel chuckled softly. "Definitely the blue one." They spent the evening playing together, and when Leo finally drifted to sleep, Daniel sat alone at the kitchen table. He stared at the custody papers. The memories of the divorce hit him like a wave, how Monica had left because she was tired of his lack of ambition, how she'd mocked his small jobs and night shifts, how she believed he'd never amount to anything. But Monica didn't know the truth. Not about the garage, not about the late nights, not about the project he'd poured his heart into for years. And she definitely didn't know that the very thing she mocked him for, his ridiculous little inventions, had recently changed everything. The email from the tech firm was still starred on his phone. Acquisition approved, $10 million to be transferred upon signing. $10 million for the smart sensor design he had worked on in secret, often after midnight while Leo slept in his room down the hall. He hadn't told anyone yet, not even Leo, and certainly not Monica. He wanted the dust to settle first. He wanted to make plans carefully. He wanted to protect his son before anything else. He looked at the custody papers again. And he smiled. The next morning, Monica showed up again, this time without yelling, but with a smirk that made Daniel uneasy. "Daniel," she said sweetly, "I think you're being unreasonable. My fiancé, Richard, is offering to hire a lawyer. It's best if you just sign." "No," Daniel interrupted. Her jaw tightened. "You really want to drag this out? You want Leo to be raised by someone who can barely afford a decent life for him?" He didn't answer right away. Instead, he reached for an envelope sitting on the hallway table. "Monica, before you say anything else, I want you to understand something." He handed it to her. She opened it quickly, clearly expecting something dramatic, maybe an apology, maybe a plea. Instead, she found a printed copy of the acquisition contract. Her eyes scanned the first few lines. Then she froze. Her lips parted. Her face drained of color. She blinked, rereading the number again and again, as though waiting for it to change. "10 million, she whispered. Daniel leaned against the doorframe, arms crossed. "Yes, you sold your design. When? How?" Her voice was trembling now, disbelief dripping from each word. A few days ago, I was going to tell Leo once everything was finalized. As for you, well, it never really concerned you. Monica swallowed hard. Daniel, I didn't know. Had I known, I never would've. Asked for full custody, insulted me, called my life unstable. Daniel asked quietly. She flinched. Monica, he continued, my financial situation doesn't change the fact that you walked away from us. I respect your role as Leo's mother, but I won't let anyone, money or no money, take him away. She looked down, speechless for the first time in her life. We can go back to the original agreement, Daniel said carefully. Shared custody, as we planned, but if you try to push this again, I have the resources to defend my son. And I will. Monica opened her mouth, closed it, then nodded stiffly. Fine, she whispered. She turned away, walking to her car with none of the confidence she'd arrived with. That night, Daniel tucked Leo into bed and kissed his forehead. Daddy, Leo murmured sleepily. Are we okay? We're more than okay, Daniel whispered back. I promise. He looked around the small house, the peeling paint, the creaky floors, the mismatched furniture. Soon, things would change. A better home, a secure future, maybe even a small vacation for the two of them, something Leo had never experienced. But the important things would stay the same. His son's laughter, their little routines, their world built on love rather than money. Monica had screamed for papers, demanded control, tried to belittle him. But what she never understood was simple. Daniel had already won, not because of the $10 million, but because he never gave up on being the father Leo deserved.